Dogs have an amazing sense of hearing, but not in the way that you would think. They can tell where sounds are coming from very easily and from very far away. But lately, my dog Willow has been having trouble telling which sound is which. For example, we would just set a cup down on the table and she would immediately run to the door thinking there's someone knocking and trying to get in. Today, I am running an experiment to see which sounds Willow thinks is someone knocking at the door. My original hypothesis was that she would think almost all of these were a knock on the door, and she would run to the door and start barking. But this was actually not the case. Like I said earlier, dogs can easily tell where the sound is coming from, and you'll see how that comes in play later. But first, let's get into the video. I'll give you the gist. We'll put a speaker by the front door, which will play different sounds that we think Willow will respond to. Hopefully, then she'll run up to the door and we'll get to see what her reaction is. This is where we're going to put the speaker, right under a dresser that is near the front door. Hopefully, she won't be able to tell where the sound is coming from. After a quick test, we were ready to begin. The first sound that we were going to play was a knock on the door. I had pre-recorded it. Here it is. Now here's what happened when I played it through the speaker. As you can see, she barks twice, but it seems like she pretty quickly understands where the sound is coming from, and it's not from the door, so she's very confused. The next sound is a plastic cup being set onto a table. I mentioned earlier that sometimes this sound makes her bark, so I decided to test it out. For this one, we didn't really get the reaction that we were expecting. Let's just move on to the next one. Very similar to the plastic cup, the mug often makes her run to the door. And yet again, we don't see a reaction from Willow. It's starting to seem like she understands that these sounds are recorded. After this, we went through 6 more sounds without ever getting a good reaction. Here's why. You see, on any regular day, if Willow is in the living room and the doorbell rings, she can't really tell where the sound is coming from, but she just assumes it's coming from the other side of the door. So she runs to the door and she starts barking. But on the other hand, there's a couple problems with the simulation I came up with. The first problem is pretty obvious. If Willow runs up to the door, she always looks around to the windows next to it and tries to see if there's anybody there. But if she doesn't see anybody, she questions why she's barking, and she'll probably just walk away. The other reason is once again because of their great hearing. Like I've already said multiple times, they can tell where the sound is coming from. So again, if Willow runs to the door and does not hear the sound coming from behind the door, and then looks at the speaker where the sound is actually coming from, it would all be very confusing for her. In this clip right here, I was attempting to film the sound of our doorbell so I could play it back through the speaker. You can hear Willow barking in the background as I open the door to try to go outside. This is a prime example that shows how over time Willow learned that the sound was coming from the speaker and not from behind the door. Actually, now that I think about it, there was one other sound that made her bark. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to like and share it with your friends. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.